According to latest bulletins from Europe, the Allies have stopped the German drive against the American First Army, at least temporarily. At the same time, American troops are driving against the southern flank of the German push and have smashed 4 dents into the Nazi wall. Allied Supreme Headquarters also reveals that thousands of American and British bombers are attacking the German supply columns and lines of communication. German Field Marshal von Rundstedt was able to start his counterattack against the American First Army because weather conditions had made it impossible for Allied air operations. And the bad weather continued to favor the Germans for the first week, keeping American and British planes on the ground. But as the skies cleared in the past couple of days and Allied airplanes were able to strike again, von Rundstedt's momentum was whittled down until he has practically stopped. Of course, it is too early to evaluate the exact situation on the Western Front. That is, whether our planes have given General Eisenhower the leverage he needed.
6:30 p.m. Saturday, December 23rd. Now, here is Frank Singheiser reporting from the WOR newsroom.
Good evening. The hopes of the United Nations flew with Allied airmen today as they took off for their first all-out blow at the week-old German winter offensive. With the weather on their side for the first time, thousands of warplanes, from flying fortresses to Lancasters to combat fighters, went out to meet the Hun, who in 8 heartbreaking days has broken from his defenses in the Siegfried Line and has driven back into Belgium and Luxembourg, back to within 29 miles of historic Sedan. And as the fury of Allied air power was unleashed, Berlin reported that General Patton's Third Army tanks have opened a great counterblow against the south flank of the 50-mile breakthrough area. Troops of the American First Army also have scored their first major defensive victory of the 8-day-old battle. They have prevented 2 German columns from joining 40 miles inside Belgium. It was a day of hope for the Allies, hope that their airmen might turn the tide of battle, as they had at Kasserine Pass and again at Avranches. And returning pilots say the German columns today provided the best targets to come within their sight since the Nazis streamed in ragged retreat through Normandy. Incomplete reports say at least 100 German planes were destroyed. American airmen have turned their raids against the chain of islands guarding the southern approaches of Japan into a full-fledged offensive. They have focused their guns on that string of bases for the 15th straight day. Admiral Nimitz reveals that Mitchell bombers, flown by Marine pilots, have hit Japanese shipping in the Bonin and Volcano groups, firing at enemy vessels with rocket projectiles. Liberators of the Pacific Strategic Air Force also joined the attack, bombing Iwo Island, 750 miles from Tokyo. The communique does not reveal results of the joint attacks, but American raiders during the past 2 weeks have taken sizable tolls of supply boats and airstrip installations in the island groups. North of Japan, liberators of the 11th Air Force have bombed and strapped targets on Onikotan Island in the Kuril chain, meeting only meager anti-aircraft fire. All our planes returned safely from the Kuril raid. The Nimitz announcement reports other smaller operations against the dwindling enemy island ring in the southwest Pacific. Marine fighters have bombed and strapped supply and ammunition dumps on Babeltop, the largest enemy-held island in the Palau group. Marine torpedo planes hit installations at Yap in the far western Carolines. Other planes have assaulted Pagan Island in the Marianas and Japanese garrisons in the Marshalls. Announcement of the new series of air attacks follows Japanese reports of continued superfortress activity over Japan itself. Radio Tokyo says 2 more B-29s have flown over southern Honshu Island, presumably to check results of yesterday's B-29 blow on Nagoya. And earlier today, the enemy radio said a single superfort dropped fire and demolition bombs on Tokyo. A late communique from Allied Philippine headquarters says American heavy bombers escorted by fighters launched a surprise attack on Clark Field on Luzon. Disorganized Japanese ground forces on Leyte Island are watching their last chance for escape wither away under a steady barrage by American artillery. Here is Fred Vandevatter.
Thank you, Frank Singheiser. I realize how difficult it will be to drop into the spot you are leaving. You've built up a tremendous following among people who appreciate truthful reporting of the news. And ladies and gentlemen, it's been a tremendous responsibility to report that news during the past 7 years. It has been a period the like of which the world has never known before, and I think the next 7 years will be equally as momentous. It will be my purpose to report all of the news at this period every evening in the same factual manner which Frank Singheiser has used. I appreciate the opportunity which has been given to me by WOR and the 2 sponsors, and the responsibilities that opportunity entails, for I believe a fully informed public is certain to be free. To that end, I shall work.